I rise to speak on the budget presented by Sri Arun Jaitley, and I hope that he will be back soon to listen to our points. I have also listened very carefully to the speeches made by Sri Veerappa Moily, Sri Hukumdev Narayan Jadhav and Sri Thambi Durai. I shall try to avoid duplication of whatever they have said. Hukumdev Narayan Jadhav is a good man. I also came with him to Lok Sabha in 1977. But from a Lohiabadi, he has become a Hindutvadi. So I do not know, actually I want to address my questions to him only. The finance minister has started by talking about the successes of the government, Jan Dhan coal auction and Swachh Bharat. He has also talked about the government's plan up to 2022. Nobody knows whether they will be in power till then. Madam, the budget speech appears to be self-congratulatory. The finance minister has said the opportunity has arisen because we have created it. Let me examine his statement. The opportunity that has arisen, inflation is certainly down and so is current account deficit, but this has to do with fall in international crude prices from $110 a barrel to, in June 2014, to $57 a barrel currently. Instead of passing on the benefits of oil price decline to consumer, the government has hiked excise duties on petrol and diesel by rupees 7.75 and rupees 6.5 per litre, mopping up thousands of crores of additional revenues. The finance minister claims that he has been successful, but in the last financial, the gross tax revenues have fallen by rupees 1.13 lakh crores from the budget estimates last year, and direct and indirect tax collection has fallen on heads. So this poses questions on the growth revival story. They have said, the finance minister, that the growth rate is 7.4%. This is questioned by his own department in the economic survey. The economic survey says, notwithstanding the new estimates, the balance of evidence and caution counsel in favor of viewing India as a recovering rather than surging economy. So 7.4% may not have been achieved. It's only due to the change of indices by the Central Statistical Organization that the government has claimed that there is great growth, that we are a surging economy. Now, actually, I wanted Hukumdev Narayan Jadhav to be present, but anyway, Lohiabadi and about farmers. Now, let me point out to him what the government has done with regard to taxes. They have not raised the income tax exemption limit from 2.5 to 3 lakhs. And this has been criticized by nobody other than Sri Jaswant Sinha, the father of our young Minister of State. And this was also included in the BJP election manifesto. They have not fulfilled it. Now, indirect taxes are up by 23,000 crores. Direct taxes are down by 8,300 crores. Which means what? Indirect taxes mean a pressure on the consumer, increase in prices. Direct taxes directly target individuals. So this is an anti-middle class step. Then what they have done? Corporate tax for the big corporates is being reduced by 5% by 2017. Also, wealth tax has been abolished. GAR, the General Anti-Avoidance Rules, which applied to big corporates investing outside has been deferred by 2 years. So this is a corporate friendly budget. I don't know what Hukumdev Narayan Jadhav would be saying, because there are no concessions to the middle class, to the common man. Rather, the corporate tax is being reduced. For whom is this targeted? Now let me go through some of the budget estimates. What are the headings under which there has been budget cut? He was talking of Kisan. This is the most anti-farmer budget in many years. Agriculture has been cut by 14.3%. National Food Security Mission has been lowered by 530 crores. Only the Prime Minister's Kriti Sinchai Yojana has been increased to make the Prime Minister happy. But cut in agriculture by 14.3%. What about education? Education has been slashed by 16.5%. School education has been cut by 25%. This will affect the midday meal scheme. Primary education has Sarva Shiksha Abhijan has been cut by 22%. Now, important schemes, ICDS, which give healthy food to children. The budget has been cut from 16,316 crores to rupees 8,000 crores to keep the poor children hungry. Sir, even the National Rural Livelihood Mission, which is to give jobs in rural areas, has been cut from 2,034 crores to 1,800 crores. Sir, NRHM has remained at the same level. So every scheme which benefits the poor rural people has seen a cut. Now, if you call this pro Kisan, where Kisan's budget has been cut, I see. Now, the finance minister has talked big about devolution of resources. He said, look, we have accepted the Finance Commission's recommendation, which has suggested devolution from 32% to 42%. But what is actually the total devolution? Whereas he has given with one hand, he has taken away with the other. Because you'd be surprised to know that increase in devolution is 1.36 lakh crores. But the centrally sponsored schemes, grants and loans have been cut by rupees 1.34 lakh crores. So actually from 61.9, devolution is only 62.8%. You are from Tamil Nadu. You realize that this is all sloganing. As Ashok Desai has said, that this budget is... Now, let me say that basically this government does not believe in devolution of resources. Look at case of West Bengal. I shall give you some statistics, sir. They say that we have helped West Bengal. The Finance Commission has not been favorable to West Bengal because they included in their criterion forest cover, 7.5%. What has happened as a result? Madhya Pradesh, which has got a much lower population than West Bengal, has got 7.54% share of the states, whereas West Bengal has got only 7.34. So, West Bengal with a much larger population has got the same level. Now, Bihar has less population than West Bengal. it has got 9.665%. So, even in this devolution by the Finance Commission, of which government cannot take a credit, they have accepted, as all our previous governments have accepted Finance Commission recommendation, we have suffered. Now, the Finance Minister may well come and say that he has given West Bengal some revenue deficit grant of rupees 11,000 crores. Now, if I may say that this 11,500 crores, only 8,500 crores is being paid this year. Now, of this 11,500 crores, we are having to pay 31,000 crores this year to the center for loans incurred by the previous left-front government. So we are in effect paying 23,000 crores. Our Chief Minister came and pleaded that please defer the collection of the past loans and interest on it. Otherwise, your 11,500 crores will be chicken feed. The center has not listened. We have paid 82,000 crores as loans in the last 3.5 years. Out of these, 76,000 crore is for loans incurred by the previous government. Now, how will the state manage? Now, the main thing why this government is anti-poor is, you see what will happen. That now they are saying we are cutting money on ICDS because we have a new scheme of sharing. And the new scheme of sharing has 3 categories. One category is that they will be fully funded by the center. The second category is they will be shared between the state and the center in a change pattern. And third category is where the center will not pay a single rupee. The BRGF, which earlier held backward areas of the country, the BRGF has been abolished. Center will not pay a single rupee. So 23 schemes will be funded by center, 13 schemes will be shared between the state and the center, and there are schemes totally delinked, including BRGF, modernization of police, which you mentioned, national e-governance plan. They will not get a single rupee from the center. So, what do we see? What is the center? What is their roadmap? What is their policy? If you really study, their policy can be summed up like this. What is their fiscal roadmap? Their fiscal roadmap is a compression of public spending on welfare measures. Center will not spend any more money on welfare for the poor people. B, narrowing focus on public investment to sectors like railways, road, defense, etc. and hoping to trigger a recovery in private investment. 3, tax giveaways to corporate sector and financial elite. D, mopping up revenues through an increase in indirect taxes. Disinvestment, hike in user charges. Inequality. Now, what is their formula? Their formula is cut all these welfare measures, give extra 70,000 crores to investment in infrastructure. Then maybe the growth rate will arise. And this government believes in a top-down approach. They believe trickle-down approach. No help for poorer people. No help for agriculturists, workers, students, youth, nobody. We will create wealth at the top by the corporates. Slowly it will trickle down below. We are against this. The whole policy of the government, the Modinomics, that has been expostulated by the finance minister is an anti-poor step. What does reforms mean for them? Reforms mean the new land law, which you have opposed tooth and nail, new coal auction law, new mines and minerals law, increase in FDI in insurance, increase in FDI in defense. So money will come from the corporates and from the foreigners. Open the door for them. Remove guard. Vodafone may buy over Hutchinson in Mauritius and run the business in India, not a single rupee in taxes. That's why I appreciate Jayant's father, Jaswant Sinha. He said GAR should have been included this year. General anti-avoidance rules. These people who buy companies abroad should be made to pay here. But the present government does not believe. What is his motto? His motto is corporatize. Make everything into a corporation. They are now proposing to corporatize the ports run by the government, against which the port workers are going on strike. They want to corporatize the ordnance factories. They want to privatize airports. They want to privatize whatever is in the government's hand. And would you believe, sir, this year 65,000 crores they are hoping to get through public sector disinvestment. This is like selling the family silver. This is what the government is doing at the altar of the corporates, hoping that this will trigger a growth, take India to new heights. India will not advance in this way. Sir, we are opposed to this total philosophy of the government, which takes away the bulgur, the nutritious food children were getting. Those will take away the midday meal, because we are saying that states will do these things. Now states, you give them 42% untied funds. The state has their own priority. They may build irrigation dams, big roads. Then what will happen to the ICDS children? Then what will happen to the midday meals? What will happen to the poorer sections of people for whom a centrally sponsored scheme was a guide? कि इसको implement करो. That will go. The poor will become poorer. This is not the way for India. As what they are saying, that we have given more power to the states. As I said, they have not devolved more money. And I am reminded of a Urdu sair which says, पंछी जो उड़ती है चमन बदल गया, हंसते हैं सितारे तो गगन बदल गया, स्मशान की खामोशी बता रही है लाश वही है सिर्फ कफन बदल गया. They are the same, only they have given a new packaging. Mr. Jaitley's budget is nothing but a packaging on behalf of the corporates. Now, I do not say everything in the budget is bad. They have created a lot of new funds. There is one fund called Investment and Infrastructure Fund, 20,000 crores. They have promised a Mudra Bank with 20,000 crores and 3,000 crores in credit guarantee. They have got the RIDF, Rural Infrastructure Development Fund. They have got a long-term agricultural development fund. They have got a short-term cooperative fund. They have got a Setu for self-employed people. They have got the Atal Innovation Mission with 1,000 crore. Now, all these funds that have been created, have you seen the roadmap? How these funds will operate? How Mudra will operate? How Investment and Infrastructure Fund will operate? Nobody knows what the roadmap for these funds are created. You just take money from the budget, take away from the welfare schemes, and put the question on banks. Sir, you'd be surprised to know Mr. Moily was saying the total non-performing assets in Indian banks today at the end of March 14 was 36,000 crores. Has the budget mentioned anything about how to reduce the non-performing assets of the banks? No. This way the banks will go bust at the way they are going. He has not mentioned anything in the budget. Now, he has spoken a lot of things about black money. The government's promise was to bring back all the black money stashed abroad and give 15 lakhs to all people. The success of the Jan Dhan Yojana is out of the expectation that government will deposit 15 lakhs in each of the Jan Dhan accounts. They are saying that Jam Trinity. Jam Trinity is what? Jam, people are putting their own money in the accounts. So what is the government's get credit? Direct benefit transfer, they are now stopping. Beyond 10.5 crores in LPG subsidy, no further direct benefit transfers are proposed. The direct tax code, which should have removed a lot of anomalies in the direct taxes, is not being proceeded with. The goods and services tax have been promised for next year, but no roadmap has been read, and a lot of stringent laws are being promised for black money. So far, the government has not been able to bring back a single rupee from Switzerland, Luxembourg, or any of the safe havens around the world. So this is all talk. The budget is full of promises, but it definitely has one direction. The direction is that they are towards economic inequality. So that's why I say, as somebody said, they have failed the fiscal test, the test of equity and rising inequality. So I'm sorry, sir, we shall not be able to support this budget.